think we're live. All right, let me just get in the group so I can see your comments. Oh, I think we just went live just now. All right, let's see. Yep, I am. All right. So I put I tried to put an explicit warning on this video because every time I talk about this topic, there's cursing involved. I get very emotional. I go back to the time when I was diagnosed, and knowing what I know now and thinking back to that time, it's emotional for me, and I'm fucking pissed. So if you have kids in the room, please get them out. Probably should have said that first. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just know, don't watch it on your screen, on the TV, in the living room, if there are kids around, if you don't curse around your kids. That being said, today hello, Rhonda. When you're popping on, thank you, Rhonda. When you're popping on, say hi. This makes it a lot more fun when we're actually talking to people. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your comments. There is so much fear, and rightfully so, based on what we've been told in the past, about an MS diagnosis. I was afraid too. It was like a death sentence to me. I was diagnosed in 2004. Christopher was 2 years old. He just turned 21. I know, 21. So all that time ago, I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be a mother and have MS? Now, I'm not going to go into my story. That will be a completely different video if you're interested. It's on the website if you want, mindingyoursoul.com. Everything's there. But today we're going to talk about the truth behind MS, because let me take you into the doctor's office. Let me take you back to when you were diagnosed. Some of you it was last week, some of you it was last month, some of you it was 15 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. Let's go back to the office for a second, but before we do that, hello everyone. Marge, hi, thanks for being here. Tanis is here. Angel, Sarah, hello. Jacintha, Angel, oh, thank you, congrats, thank you so much. Yeah, 21, so I have 21, 17, and almost 2. He's 19 months next week. Yep, that's a whole nother video. All right, so I brought visual aids, right? So I'm the doctor. I'm wearing white too. You're the patient. You're sitting across from his office and from his desk, and he goes, all of your test results came back. Yeah, we see here. So you got an MRI, the blood work, and the spinal tap, all the things you need for an official MS diagnosis. You think, because why wouldn't you, that he's sitting here, he or she is sitting here looking at what is confirming an MS diagnosis. An MS diagnosis, you can Google this, is a differential diagnosis. It's not like, oh, there it is, there's the red flag, that means you have MS. No. The MRI, the blood work, and the spinal tap all have to come back clear. They're looking at clear test results. Is anyone surprised to hear that? I was. Absolutely clear test results, because if they can't see an infection, if they can't see the reason for your symptoms, then it's an MS diagnosis, because they don't know the cause, they don't have a cure for it. So what they say is, we don't know what the fuck's going on. So if you're having all of these symptoms that you're telling us you're having, and we can't explain it, that's how we get an MS diagnosis. Angel, right? Very surprised. I was shocked when I found this out years ago. So you're thinking, okay, let's go to the MRI. The MRI says that I have brain lesions, Janine. How do you explain that? Yeah, you know how you explain that? Millions of people on this planet, not in this country, not in your country, on the planet, millions of people have brain lesions, markings, scars. But millions of people don't get MRIs and get told, oh, you have this or you have this, and this is what's going to happen to you. That MRI shows brain lesions, which guess what? Lesions is just a scary word for scars, markings. If they said you have a few brain markings, yeah, well, everyone has brain markings. We don't know what they're from, but we just want to let you know that you have some markings. The MRI comes back like everyone else's comes back. Then you're like, okay, well, what about, hello, Monica from Switzerland. Then you're like, all right, well, what about the blood work? There's got to be something in my blood work. No, your blood work comes back completely clear. Because if there was something in your blood where they could say, oh, that might be an explanation for your symptoms, then it wouldn't be MS. But since there's nothing in your blood and you're still having the symptoms, they go, got to be MS. But they need to cover their ass. So they do the MRI, they do the blood work, and then they do the really scary test, the spinal tap. Who gets a spinal tap if it's not a death sentence, right? Spinal tap, they go into your spinal cord, they suck out the spinal juice, and then they look at it and they go, yeah, spinal tap, we got all the conclusive evidence that we need to make an MS diagnosis. But guess what? That spinal tap has to come back clear. That spinal tap comes back clear. And then they go, well, can't explain it there either, so we got these three things, then we can't explain the symptoms, must be MS. So just know that before we go into the next part, the 4 stages of Epstein Barr. Just know that you're sitting in the doctor's office thinking that he's looking at all of these things that say you have MS, when really he's looking at absolutely nothing to explain your symptoms. And therefore, by the medical industry's definition, that is the definition of MS. Shit we can't explain. So really, what does multiple sclerosis mean? It means you have multiple scars. Sclerosis is the Latin word for scars. You have multiple scars. That's all that means. Okay, great. Well, let me put my visual aid away. Janine, I still have all of these symptoms. That's great. The test came back clear, but how do you explain my symptoms? Okay. Jacinta, we are money. Yeah, we are money to them. We are money makers to them. Exactly. That's a whole nother video. I would love to get into conspiracy theories because it's such a rabbit hole and I have so much fun going, oh, yeah. But you know what? I've decided you're right. And I think the same thing. I just don't allow myself to spend too much time thinking about it because it's a real rabbit hole and it could bring down your vibrations. So what I choose to think about instead is all the shit that I can do about it. Not only can I get my body to where it needs to be, it's working, I have no symptoms, but I could also fucking rebel and tell everybody else this information so that everybody else can heal. And hopefully when you heal, you're going to take this information and do the exact same thing. You're going to get on whatever platform you can get on and you're going to tell anybody who will listen. There's no need to suffer, end the needless suffering by spreading this information. That's why this information is free inside Minding Your Soul. Everything is free. Yeah, I charge for the group coaching. The group coaching is, we talk about everything, the protocol, the day-to-day stuff, the in-laws, the husbands, the husbands. We spent a little time on that. So what I want to talk to you now is, so what is the root cause behind our symptoms? Well, now it's a lot easier to talk about this and explain this because back in the day, years ago, when I first started this coaching business, I was like, well, you know what? The medical medium says that it's the Epstein Barr virus and, you know, he speaks to the spirit of compassion, which I know sounds a little funny, but I did what he said and it worked. All of my symptoms went away. All of them. Do I still get them? Yes, and we'll talk about why. Because we have to address the body, the mind, and the soul. So in this group, we're always talking about the protocol, we're talking about the physical, the body. But I've also learned over the years of working with so many people, and plus my own just recent symptoms, I'm realizing that this virus feeds on fear. It feeds on fear. Whatever hormone is released inside of our bodies when we are afraid, that's what it feeds on. Whether you are afraid of the shit that's really happening in front of you in your life, or the fear that you've manufactured in your mind, it doesn't matter. It still produces the same hormones that this virus feeds on. So what is the reason behind MS? It is the Epstein Barr virus. And we're going to go through the stages right now because it's important for you. Well, it was important for me. I hope it's important to you to see where it started. And after learning about the stages of the Epstein Barr virus, it was like going back into middle school and going, oh, that's why I was the way I was. That's why I felt that way. Oh, yeah, and then that happened in my early 20s. Oh, I could see exactly when it went into stage 3. Okay. So that's why I find it important. We're going to go through every Wednesday. We're going to go through another piece of the protocol. So next Wednesday, we're going to do module 1. We're going to do the morning routine and talk everything to get you set up. Today, we're getting started on this new mini-series, call it Back to Basics. We're going to talk about everything that has to do with the root cause of your symptoms, so that when we start next week, we're going to start with module 1, and then the following week, module 2 and module 3, and we're going to take you through the whole thing. All of this information is always going to be free because this is the information we should have learned in school and in the doctor's office, at the very least at the doctor's office. So stage 1 of the Epstein Barr virus is the only time that the virus is dormant. You came in contact with the virus through saliva. That's why mono, which is later, stage 2, we'll get into that, is called the kissing disease because it's contracted through saliva. But in stage 1, you don't even know that you're sick. You don't know that you've contracted the virus because there are no symptoms. The virus is literally dormant. It's not causing any problems, so you don't know you have it. This is the only time when it's very easy to be killed by starving it, going into the protocol, by starving it, taking away its food source. It will very easily die because it's weak. It's just gradually growing in your body. But because you don't know you have it, you don't do anything differently. And so this is through no fault of your own. I want to remove the stigma of body shaming. We did nothing wrong. We were never told any of this. Now that we know, now we have choices. Now we can decide what we want to do, if we want to do anything differently. But now you have the information, now you have the choice. Because once you know this, you can't unknow it. So change becomes very simple. So stage 1, you've contracted the virus, and the virus is getting a lay of the land inside your body. It's swimming around. It's like, okay, this is over here. Oh, we got some food sources over there. Let's get into the blood. Let's see how strong that immune system is. Okay, it's still not causing any symptoms. It's a very smart virus. According to Anthony Williams, it's a very smart virus, and it's waiting. It's biding its time. It's just floating around your body, and it's waiting for a traumatic event. Why a traumatic event? For a few reasons. It knows that you're going to be at your weakest point during this trauma, and it knows that you're going to be releasing a shit ton of stress hormones. Remember, it feeds on the stress hormones, along with gluten, dairy, eggs, and all the other things we'll get into in the following weeks. So as it goes around your body, it waits for a traumatic event. Now that traumatic event could be traumatic to your body. Let's say puberty, childbirth, menopause. It could be a car accident. It could be death of a loved one. It could be anything that is perceived as traumatic in the human mind. So go back to right before you were diagnosed, or right before your symptoms started. Tell me in the comments, something easy. Say me in the comments if right before you were diagnosed, you were going through a traumatic event. Any number of things, puberty, period, menopause, car accident, death in the family, dealing with a narcissistic alcoholic husband, anything that you were going through. Just say me if right before you were diagnosed or right before you started seeing symptoms, that was you. Just let everybody know that they're not alone. This is quite normal. Oh, look, thank you everyone. Look, Trish, me, Grace, me, Angel, 100%, Rachel, me. This is what the virus does. It waits for you to be at your weakest point. So the event itself didn't cause you. It didn't trigger. It kind of did trigger. But what happened is it was already inside your body just waiting. Rhonda, fortunately for me in 1986, there were no disease-modifying treatments to treat me with. Until 2021, right here in this group, did I begin to heal with no drugs ever. We are all in the right place, folks. Fear no more. Oh, Rhonda, fucking love it. Thank you. Rhonda came into this group never doing any disease-modifying drugs, learned this information, and she is on the healing journey. Rhonda, give me a percentage. How would you say, how far would you say you are from 100%? Are you 100%? Are you 90%? Are you 80%? How much have you healed doing this protocol? Let everybody know. Angel, I was an 11-year-old girl being taken from my mother, put into foster care. Oh, Angel. Yeah, that's traumatic. Tanis, lots of stress and no sleep for me. Angel, I went and asked my mother to succumb to a condition that I came to know what is multiple sclerosis. My God. Trish, I was dealing with my parents' divorce, running away, pregnancy, moved out of my mom's and my aunt's, hours away, ended up hospitalized from mono. All of the people who don't have this information, who are out there going through all of these traumatic events, don't know what's going on with their body. They don't know that there's something that they can do. We know. Some people don't come across the medical medium. Some people don't talk the way they used to out on the street. Talk to people. Let them know that they have options. Because think about this. Yes, I witnessed. Okay. So you see, everyone's the same. We all had this virus inside of us, and then something happened in our lives which enabled the virus to go, she's weak. she's weak. And then what happens is there's over 65 different strains of the virus. They all go from very mild to very aggressive. So in stage 2, you're going through trauma and the virus goes, now's the time to attack, and it starts to attack. You're getting symptoms, but depending on what strain you have, there was over 65 different strains. I think it was like 20 years ago, so God only knows, because it's constantly morphing, just like the flu virus. It's constantly evolving and figuring out how to survive and how to be stronger. So let's just say there's 65 different strains, from very mild to very aggressive. Depending on what strain you have will determine the symptoms that you get when you're in stage 2. So a lot of us ended up in the hospital with either mono, or I had mono, and then the second year, I think I was 14, and then I was in the hospital, and then 15 I was back in the hospital, which we thought was a relapse, but they just said my white blood cells were so elevated, but they couldn't find anything wrong with me. That was the virus moving into stage 3. We'll get there. So in stage 2, the virus gives some sort of symptom. So if you have a very mild strain of the virus, then your symptoms are going to be nothing more than what you think are allergies. And you're going to be fatigued, you're going to be tired, and you're going to be like, oh, this sucks. If you have more of the aggressive strain, then that's going to land you either with mono, hospitalized. You're going to know that you're down. I don't know if you're going to end up in the hospital. I did twice in middle school. That's stage 2 of the virus. Now, before we get into stage 3, the virus has a cofactor, and the way they explain a cofactor is like a best friend. Rhonda just said, oh, Rhonda! I asked Rhonda before how, so she got into the group, she found the information, she started to heal, and I asked her, what percentage of healed would you say that you are right now? She just said, I am 90% healed. God, how good did that feel to write that? I am 90% healed, just working on my walking, which is getting better through nutrition. Thanks, Janine. God, Rhonda, you are so welcome. Exercise and mindset. Never give up. In all caps, never give up. Everybody heals. Everybody heals, because this is just a virus. Yes, there are going to be different puzzle pieces that you need. Everyone needs the protocol information, because that's the physical part. But Rhonda, do you find that there's also mental things? There's boundaries that you need to set. There's core values that you need to make sure aren't being sacrificed or compromised. There is the body, mind, and soul, all of these components. Everybody heals. It's just how willing you are to put in the work. Monica, I met my ex, a narcissist, but I didn't until 10 years later, seeing that my body knew it was toxic. Oh, Monica. Remind me, guys, I was going to go into the streptococcus virus. Monica, I'm glad you said that. I had my first symptom in 10 years, 2 months ago, and I lost my legs. That was right after my daughter's car caught on fire. 2 days later, I lost my legs. And I got in this group and I said, all right, guys, this is it. 10 years. I have a symptom. Both my legs are numb. I'm numb from the waist down. I could still walk. Didn't have weakness. The skin was completely numb. As the weeks went on, and I coached myself the way I would coach somebody else, I realized that I'm not speaking my truth. I am just in the process of separating from my narcissist. So during those 6 weeks that my legs were completely numb, we got into it, and he finally said, you really want me out of here? And without question, I went, yes, I want you out of here. He's like, you think you could do this by yourself? And I went, yes, watch me. I absolutely fucking can do this by myself. The kids, the financial, I'll do it by myself. I don't know how, but I don't fucking care. I'll do it. If my legs hadn't gone numb, I would have never been at the rock bottom point that I was, to feel the fear and not care and still say, yes, I want you out. And within those 6 weeks, he got an apartment and we did it. He's out. As of last Sunday, he's out. I've never felt better in my life. I went for a run last night for the first time in 3 years. He's been out since Sunday. What was yesterday? Tuesday? I went out for a run and I haven't done that in 3 years. I feel amazing. This isn't just about the protocol. We're going through the 4 stages right now of the Epstein Barr virus in the upcoming weeks, and in this group we talk about the physical, we talk about the protocol, because once you start feeling in your body strength and power, and feeling that you have the power to affect change in your body and to get rid of symptoms, once you feel that, everything else falls into place, and then you start going, wait a second, I do have fucking boundaries and I do need to speak up. And then you start speaking up. So the intent is to heal. You think you're healing the physical body, but everything around you seems to be falling apart. But in hindsight, it's falling apart so that you can put it back together the way it should be, the way you want it to be. So that's the kind of stuff we talk about in the group coaching, because that's the kind of stuff you really need. People, you need a community, you need the other women who are going, yeah, I've been there, I've done that, you're doing great, keep going, try this is what worked for me. And we're not talking about the physical shit. Most of the time we're talking about the relationships in our lives that need to change. Okay, I don't want to get off course too much, but that was so important to know. There's so many different, Monica, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Janine, thank you, but don't be. It's been absolutely amazing, and I haven't stopped smiling since Sunday night. It's been absolutely amazing. I should have done this a long time ago. But again, I have a 1.5-year-old, and I thought, my God, who does that? You know, I only met him 5 years ago. I was so sure that he was the one. I didn't see any of this until I was pregnant. When I was pregnant, the whole house of cards came crumbling down. So, yeah, sorry, but congratulations, Monica. Exactly. Sorry. Congratulations. Yes, exactly. Congratulations. You'll feel it coming off of me. All right, so let's get back. So we talked about stage 1, stage 2. Stage 2, you get either diagnosed with something or you don't, but you feel symptoms, but you might not know that it's the mono because you have a very mild strain. And I need to touch upon the streptococcus bacteria. That's a bacteria. The streptococcus bacteria is a cofactor. They describe it like a best friend of the Epstein Barr, where you have one, you have the other. Streptococcus, Epstein Barr virus go hand in hand. Where you have one, you have the other. Now, streptococcus has a way of either going north in your body or south in your body. So for me, I went north. As a kid, I was always getting so sick anytime that I got tired, especially around the start of school. It would be like October. I was always sick for Halloween. I rarely made it out to go trick-or-treating as a kid because I was always sick because school had started in September, and by October I was down for the count. The strep, I always had swollen tonsils. I always had strep throat. I always had sinus infections. And I used to say, you know, why can't everyone else just be tired? I can't get tired without getting sick. That's when strep travels north in the body. Let me silence my phone. That's when strep travels north in the body, and sometimes it travels south. And that's when you're getting at the bladder infections and the UTIs and just the chronic problems down there where you're constantly buying stuff and on prescriptions, and it's never right down there. Sometimes strep can travel north and south. I didn't know this, they don't talk about this, but the more people that I work with over these last 3 years, I'm finding that most of the time it's either north or south, but a lot of times it's both. And it depends on your age, and it depends on how long the bacteria has had free reign in your body. So a lot of times it goes north and then it goes south, or vice versa. So that's really important to understand. So if you have strep, yes, you have the Epstein Barr virus. Now, you want to know probably at this point, well, do I or don't I have the Epstein Barr virus? You're saying like 95% of the world's population has the virus. Well, how do I know? Well, let's talk about stage 3, and then remind me to go back. Actually, I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget to talk about the blood tests. All right, so stage 1, virus is getting lay of the land. You contracted it, but you don't know you have it. Traumatic event hits, and the virus goes, she's weak, and it starts launching an attack on your body. And that's when you're going to get symptoms, either very mild, that won't send you to the doctor, or they're going to be very aggressive, that do send you to the doctor. Now, you eventually heal from stage 2, right? Whether it was what you thought was allergies or whether it's mono. You eventually heal. And the doctor, and I'm watching my daughter go through this, and the doctor goes, okay, you're done. You're healed. Everything's gone. We just took the blood test. Oh, perfect segue. So I will go back to that. We took the blood test, and the active virus is no longer in your blood, so go on your way. And more than likely, you feel like you never healed. Maybe the symptoms are gone, but you're fucking exhausted. And the energy never really comes back. Let me know if this is you. Grace, I'm so here for this session and topic. Also proud of you, Janine. Oh, thank you so much, Grace. I'm so glad you're here, too. Are you still on vacation, or are you back? I think you're still on it. I think you're still, yeah. So, in stage 3, the virus does leave your blood, and it goes this sucks. The immune system is all running rampant throughout the bloodstream. I need to go find an organ to live in. So the virus finds an organ to live in. Whatever organ or organs it decides to live in, and it decides upon, how much food there is in there. And by food, I mean shit, heavy metals, toxic crap. That's what viruses feed on. Shit, toxic, heavy metals. So the virus is going through your body, and for us, for people diagnosed with MS, it goes, ooh, the liver and the kidneys. Perfect spot for me to take up home. And it takes up residence in your kidney and your liver. And then you get a certain set of symptoms that takes you to the doctor. And the doctor goes, I'm so sorry. Where's my clipboard? We did everything. And yep, you have MS because you said you had a certain set of symptoms that were unexplained. Remember the three things. Unexplained. So therefore you get the diagnosis. So if the virus is going around your body and goes, ooh, that thyroid looks nice and toxic. You know what? Plenty of food for me to eat there. It takes up home in your thyroid. And then you're diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, hyperthyroidism, or Hashimoto's. If the virus decides to go into your intestinal tract, lots of good toxic crap in there sometimes, if it decides to live in your intestinal tract, well then guess what? Depending on the strain that you have, remember very mild to very aggressive, let's say you have a very mild strain that decides to live in your intestinal tract, well then you get diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. If it decides, if you have a very aggressive strain, you're going to get diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Do you see where I'm going with this? We're going to get to stage 4. In stage 4, let's just skip because I want to talk about RA. When it gets to stage 4, its ultimate goal is stage 4. The virus wants to ride your nervous system because your nervous system is the freeway to all of your organs in your body. So it's very typical for someone who is already diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, MS, thyroidism, Crohn's disease, to be the later in life diagnosed with RA. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? How many things am I getting? You're not getting the things. You have one thing. You just have a virus. That's it. That's why people are healing. Because of this information, you kill the virus, your symptoms start to go away. And the first thing, and we're going to talk about this next week, module 1, the first thing we do for you here in this protocol, I've gotten all the medical medium books behind me, and I studied them for so long, and I extracted all the information, and I put it together in a way where you're going to get energy first on this protocol, because you're like, great, Janine, how many things do I have to do? I'm fucking exhausted. I can barely do the few things that I can muster up the energy to get done, and now you're telling me that I got to do this protocol, and I got to buy celery, and I got to buy berries, and I can't do that. No, I know that. Of course you can't. I get it. I was still living in the same house, and I still have the same bed that I lived in. It's on the other side of this computer, actually, because ever since I had my third child, he got my office, and now I have my office as the corner of my bedroom. I used to lay in that bed completely paralyzed, my arms and my legs just completely not working, numb, weak, couldn't move them. And I would listen to the kids in the next room, and I'd go, oh my God, I just want to get up and make them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Some people dream about having money and vacations and yachts, and I'm like, I just want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for my kids. But making that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, with the amount of energy, or the lack thereof, and the amount of brain fog that I had, the number of steps needed, and who can identify with this, the number of steps needed to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich was exorbitant. I would get up and I'd sit in the chair and be like, okay, I'm gonna make the damn sandwich. All right, the bread's on top of the fridge. All right, let me get the bread, sit back down. Okay, I'm gonna go to the fridge, I'm gonna go back over, I'm gonna get the jelly. Got the jelly. Oh, fucking peanut butter's in the cabinet. All right, so I get the peanut butter, I sit back down again. I'm like, God damn it, I need a spoon for the jelly. I get the spoon for the jelly. I'm like, I need a fucking break. This is so fucking much. What did I do already? What else do I need? I'd start making it. Then I'm like, now I need a knife for the peanut butter. I need a fucking knife. Jesus Christ, I'm too tired. I can't do this. That was me making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Some people dream of that. Some people dream of crazy ass big things. I just wanted to make my kids a sandwich. So the first thing we do in the protocol is we get the energy. We get the fucking energy. Because you can't do anything until you have the energy. And I will explain to you the peaks and the valleys of how the energy comes, because you don't just start the protocol and then the energy starts and then the next day you have more energy. No, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Healing doesn't work that way. You go through these peaks and valleys. No, I'm missing some Trish, was that an aha moment for you? She just wrote, IBS. Wow, right? Guess what? My mother has IBS. My sister has thyroidism. It runs in the family. Everyone has it. And you want to hear something else awful, as if this information wasn't awful enough? We pass down the virus through the birth canal. We pass it down to our kids in the birth canal. That's why my son just got over mono 2 months ago at 20. My daughter had mono for the first time at 15. Guess what? She just got it again. So, will she drink celery juice? No, she won't. Will he? No. Did he go gluten-free? No, she did though. She went gluten-free and dairy-free, and she's also vegetarian. Yeah, it's real fun making meals around here. She's doing what she can, but I passed it down to them through the birth canal. So yes, you can contract it through other people who are contagious. Oh, by the way, when you contract it, remember I said in stage 1 you contracted it but you don't know you got it because you don't have any symptoms? You got it from someone who is contagious, and it is contagious in the saliva when you're in stage 2. So stage 2, when you're sick, before you even get those symptoms, when it's in your blood and it's launching the attack, even before you get the symptoms, you're going to be contagious. That's why it's so easily spread, because it's easy enough to go, oh, I'm sick, I should stay home, or my kids are sick, I should keep them home. Wash the hands extra. We're actually contagious a couple days before we even get the symptoms. That's why it's so easily spread. That's why over 90% of the world's population has Epstein Barr. Jody, I know exactly how you felt, right? With making the sandwich. It's horrible. And that's why I do this, and that's why so many other people do this too. They reach out to other people and they go, you don't have to suffer anymore. There is a way out. I feel like I had every freaking symptom except the down south. When the streptococcus in my body, it never went down south. I've had my share of yeast infections in my life, but I don't get them anymore. And you know what else is great since I got healthy, since I got rid of my symptoms? I don't get painful periods anymore. My periods aren't heavy. The last 2 have been, but I think I'm entering into perimenopause. Yeah, 45 years old. That's fun. I don't know. But ever since I got healthy, my periods as a kid used to be so heavy and so painful. My mother took me to the hospital once thinking that my appendix burst. And same thing with my daughter now. She called me up screaming in pain. And my husband at the time was like, we should take her to the doctor. And I'm like, no, these are period cramps. She got her period, so it's not like I didn't know. But when you get healthy, when you get this virus out of your body, your period cramps are almost 0. On day 1, I'll have some cramps, and I have very, very light periods. Most days I could just get away with a liner. Sorry if there's guys in the group, but we got to talk about this stuff. You should hear what we talk about in the group coaching. It's a lot of like, what did your poop look like? And just the other day, you could hear me going, my poop is beautiful. I've worked very hard on my poop. It's very brown, it's very long, and it's in an S, and it's in one piece. And yeah, that's what we talk about in the group. We talk about everything. Angel says, it's been my theory that I contracted it through my mother during my birth. Exactly, and that's how I gave it to my daughter. Not to say that she can't still contract a strain of the virus, and that's the thing. You can contract multiple strains. Maybe you got one from your mother, maybe you got one out in the world. There's so many different symptoms associated with the different strains of the virus. And that's why the umbrella of symptoms underneath the MS umbrella, there's so many. I would joke all the time and say, I could go to my neurologist, I could show him my eyes are hemorrhaging, and he would say, well, Janine, you have MS, like the symptoms are all over the place. You have MS, and he would do nothing. Another thing that happened to me as a kid, my daughter got mono and shingles in high school. Yep, and that is the Epstein Barr virus. And it all comes out in high school, middle school and high school, because we're going through, not only are we going through puberty, but we're going through, I don't think, and again, this is just my theory of working with all of these people over the years and watching them heal and watching how they heal and doing my own tests on myself. I don't think that the hormones alone are enough to cause the virus to feed and stay alive. And the reason why I came up with that theory is because I went through 2 rounds of IVF. Yes, I went through 2 rounds of IVF to have this child at 44 years old. For the narcissist who's no longer in my life. Again, that's a whole nother session. I went through 2 rounds of IVF. I injected myself with so many hormones, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, every day, all day. If I wasn't giving myself, I would give myself a shot in the morning and the afternoon, and then I would take pills during the day. And I thought, okay, well, here's the test. I was for sure that it was going to feed the virus enough to give me symptoms. It didn't. It didn't. I didn't get this S symptom until, well, he's a year and a half, and it was July when there was car fire, right? Where are we? May, June, July. Lost legs on July 14th. So, and I had him in March of 2022. All of those hormones before, leading up to March of 2022, no symptoms. It wasn't until I felt the fear of living the rest of my life with this man and seeing over and over and over again how, oh my God, I have to get away. I have to get away from this man. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I didn't speak up and I didn't do anything. And that ate away at me and ate away at me. I think it's the fear. I think it's the fear that this virus feeds on. Because if you think about it, you're going into middle school and it's a combination of you're going through puberty and you're not sure of yourself. You don't know who you are. All of these hormones are surging through. You don't even know if it's you or if it's your hormones. You're learning about your own personality, how you react in certain situations, the insecurities, all that fucking shit that we go through in childhood, in middle school and high school. There's so much fear. So that's a working theory of mine, and I'm seeing more evidence of that. The hormones didn't do anything to me. It was the fear. That's what gave me and the fear it put me over the top when we had the car fire. My daughter's car caught on fire, and then it was so big. My husband's car caught on fire. It was a huge thing in front of the house. All the fire trucks, the police. I have a kid on the hip. One has mono. Christopher had mono at that time. Julie's crying her eyes out, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. Don't panic. And I wasn't feeling a thing. Because I'm like, you can't. My daughter is crying so hard, and I looked at her and I go, stop crying. I go, you cannot think clearly in panic. We need to get out of here. We need to find the fire extinguisher. And she goes, Mom, I'm not panicking. I'm feeling my emotions. And I went, oh my God. Not at that moment, hearing that, did I even still feel my emotions. Because the officer later came up to me. He's like, wow, you're handling this really well. I'm like, am I? I feel like a fucking zombie. I feel like a robot. I didn't say fucking. I said, I feel like a robot right now. He's like, no, you're doing good. 2 days later is when I lost my legs. I think the fear of that situation put me over the edge, and I hit such a rock bottom that I had it out with my husband. And within those 6 weeks of losing my legs, when they came back, I can say he is out as of last Sunday, and life is good. And I went for a run for the first time in 3 years. The energy is back. So I'm telling you all of this because it's not just the protocol that is going to get you 100% healed. If you want to chime in, Rhonda, and see if you agree with that, it's not 100% the protocol. The protocol is going to 100% work on killing the virus, and it will kill the virus. But I don't know if the virus is ever 100% out of your body, or that you get your viral load so low that you don't have any symptoms, that your immune system can easily take care of this and not be affected by it because it's so weak and the viral load is so low. I think it's always there. And I think when you feed it, so it's the gluten, the dairy, the eggs, the heavy metals, and the fear hormone is what feeds it too. So I don't want to give anybody any false hope and say, okay, after following the modules, you drink some celery juice, you're going to be 100% healed. No, it's not like that at all. But you will feel a difference. Your symptoms will start to go away. And I watch how people heal to a certain point. They've got the protocol down, they're doing all the things, and they heal to a certain point, but they still have some symptoms left. And then we begin the real work. The subconscious work, the shadow work, the inner child work. That's the stuff that we do in the group. In group, you can only talk about the protocol so much. Okay, where are you at? All right, 2 weeks on the celery juice. All right, let's increase it. Let's do that. That's a couple minutes. But where we spend the time is on the subconscious, the shadow work, the inner child work, because we need to get the storage of the emotional baggage out of our body. Okay, Rhonda, I just had to scroll down. Perfect. Fear is definitely an exacerbation catalyst. Wow, that was so eloquently put. I am going to be using that from now on. Fear is definitely an exacerbation catalyst. So, Where does fear come from? And I'm sorry, I won't get into this too much, but I want to set you up for success. I want you to understand that if you're new, if you're watching this for the first time, you don't just do the protocol and you heal, and you keep all that emotional baggage and all of that shit that you've been storing inside of your body. You don't heal unless you get that emotional shit out of your body. That's what we work on in the group, along with the protocol. But the protocol is going to get you to the point where you feel empowered, because as you kill the virus and as your immune system goes, oh my God, thank you. I've been fighting this virus for so long. I'm fucking exhausted. And as the viral load comes down and your immune system gets more energy, you feel the energy, you feel the clarity. It's like the brain fog glasses have come off, and you look around and you go, holy shit, I can hold my thoughts. I remember my thoughts. I can see clearly. I don't know about for you guys, but my brain fog was so hard to describe, but the way I say it is my eyes felt like they wanted to cross, and I would have to work really hard on keeping my eyes straight to the point where it would hurt. I would work hard at keeping my thought long enough so that I can communicate it. And it was such work for me to get my thought out of my mouth in a way that people could understand me and I didn't look like an idiot. Like I was just like, oh wait, what was I saying? That's what brain fog was for me. Does anyone identify with that? I mean, if you could explain your brain fog, because I know it's different for so many people, because again, of all the different strains that are out there, we all have these different symptoms, which is why it's nice in the group for people to say, oh, that is a weird symptom. Like the lightning shocks. All through middle school, I got these zaps. I would call them the lightning bolts that would hit my stomach, and it would feel like lightning, just like electricity went through my body, but within a half a second. And it would take my breath away. I'd go, oh, and sometimes it would take me down to my knees. But again, I don't know if it was more painful or if it was more shocking. It was only a half a second, but it zapped my energy. And every time I would tell my mother, she'd be like, oh, that's weird. And on the few times that I was at the doctor's office, he would go, oh, that's weird. What I'm now learning, and I talk about this in a past video, and we'll be talking about it when we talk about heavy metals. When the heavy metal is in your body and the electricity, the signal that leaves your brain and heads for wherever it's heading for, it has to travel down your spinal column and out through your extremities, right, for you to be able to move and feel. When the signal gets interrupted, whether it's from a heavy metal or if it's from a scar, it's scarred over, and we're going to talk about how those scars happen in the coming weeks, the energy, the signal, the electricity has to go somewhere. So it hits, it gets blocked, and then the electricity has to go somewhere, and it doesn't have a route, a path to follow, so it goes like that. And that's what you're feeling. So if anyone ever got electrical shocks growing up, that's why. It's finally explained. Angel says, it's interesting that you describe your brain fog that way. I experience, you experience it too. So sometimes when I'm working, I work as an editor and a producer for a digital media, among other things. And when I'm doing that work, I have to shake my head and readjust and realign my focus. Yes, because it becomes too much for me to sustain. Yeah, like you have to go, regroup, reset. Or Angel, or anybody else. Oh, hello, Sabrina. Try this. When you keep your head straight, when you look really far to one side, do you feel like disoriented? I used to get that and I didn't understand, and people thought I was crazy. Like, I can't look to the side, or I couldn't, for too long without feeling disoriented, and then I'd have to do exactly what you just described. I'd have to go and like regroup and realign and refocus. That's heavy metals. That's how you know. And everybody has heavy metals in your body. We're going to talk about how to get them out safely and how it's not your fault that you have heavy metals. If you live on this planet, you just naturally come in contact with heavy metals. Excuse me. 1 second. Angel, totally, right? Yes. Look to the side and you're like, oh, we're going to get rid of that. I promise you, we're going to get rid of that. We're getting rid of everything. This virus is the reason why we have all of these symptoms. So, heat intolerance. You know what heat intolerance is? Your body going, are you fucking kidding me? Now you want me to cool you down? I've been saving your life ever since you got this virus. I've been saving you from it. Everyone's been shaming me for it, saying that I'm wrongly attacking you. And here I am, saving your life. And now you want me to cool you down? Well, I can. I'm too fucking tired. You cool yourself down. Go inside. Get back in the air conditioner. I got work to do. That's what your body is saying. That's what the heat intolerance is. As soon as your body, your resources, your immune system doesn't have to fight this virus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it goes, oh, you're feeling a little hot? You want me to cool you down? I can do that. I got time now. Half the virus is dead. I got plenty of time. And it starts to work on the list of shit that it hasn't been doing for years. It's been put on the back burner because it's been fighting this virus. All the times that we have been body shamed, oh, your body is wrongly attacking itself. You have MS. There's no cure. Your body's just going to continue to attack itself. You're going to end up in a wheelchair. You're not going to be able to take care of your kids. And all those things that you wanted to do in life, yeah, they're gone. Can't do those anymore. That's not true. You have a fucking virus. You kill the virus. You get rid of the symptoms and you get back to life. Yes, I'm agitated. I'm animated, I'm dramatic, and there's explicits flying out of my mouth because the suffering is so completely unnecessary. Being on this side of healing, knowing what life is like, knowing that I have choices, my God, I stayed with my first husband for so long because I didn't have choices. I didn't even make the choice. He left me. He left me the note saying, sorry, I don't want this life with you. Good luck raising the children. That was my first husband. Yeah, again, another video, another therapy session. This is why I'm a health coach and not a relationship coach. I don't know the first fucking thing about relationships. I'm working on it. I'm doing my own inner work. Again, healing comes in all different forms. The first thing we need to do is help you on the physical level get rid of this virus so that we can get rid of all of these symptoms so that you can start making choices, so that you can start having choices to make, and you can start making decisions based on what you want, not on the only options available to you. That's what happens when you heal the physical body. You never had the time to say, this is what I truly want. You never had the energy and you never had the choices before because you were stuck relying on other people to help you. You were stuck relying on other people to do the things that you want to do. Play with your kids, raise your kids, clean your kids, take them to the beach, take them to school, do a PTO meeting. If you don't have kids, it's all the other things. The dog, the job, everything. You have choices once you heal. And you absolutely can. Look at me, I look like a president. You absolutely can heal. I didn't realize I was doing that. Rhonda said it. I had to drop out of radiologist school in 1976 because things would happen. Like, I would be in the dark room developing x-rays and couldn't stay focused. It was awful. Again, right? The choices are taken away from you one by one. And then you're left looking around at your life and you're going, oh my God, I'm making these choices based on what I'm capable of. And I'm not capable physically. I am not capable of doing much. So I guess I'll just pick the least of the best of the worst. I'll just pick like the least horrible option. When you start to heal, you get to design your life. You get to say, nope, I don't want that. Nope, that's not acceptable. This is what I want. This is what I deserve, and I'm going to have it. And that might seem a little impossible right now because of where you are right now. And that's why I make this. When I talk to you, I don't talk to you about, you're going to heal, it's going to be great, and it's going to happen next month. No, it might take months. It might take a year, but it's going to happen because it's just a virus. And now that we know what we're up against, now that we know the root cause, now we can work on fixing it. Now we can work on it. Or maybe we don't, and that's fine too. I'm not shaming anybody who says, great, I have this information, I choose to do nothing with it. That's fine. But again, it's just adding to your list of choices. Now you have choices. And that's what we're all about. And that's why this group is called Minding Your Soul. You are minding the matters of your soul to heal. Whatever those matters are, whatever makes your soul sing, whatever lights you up. It doesn't matter if to someone else they go, oh, that sounds horrible. I don't care. It sounds great to me, and that's what I want to do. These are the choices you get when you heal the physical body. Then you can begin healing all the emotional stuff that you've been holding on to. Because in order for the new to come in, you have to make space by removing the old. All of that negative energy, and not just negative energy as like when you're in a bad mood. No, all those situations that you wanted to react to, that you wanted to have emotions about, but couldn't because either it wasn't safe or you thought it was pointless. Where do you think all of that negativity goes? It goes inside of your body and it stays there. And what do you think that frequency and that vibration does inside of the body? All the cells respond to that. It is amazing how I feel since he has left. The amount of energy, I've done nothing different physically, like diet-wise, I've done nothing different. The energy that I have is unbelievable. For me to go for a run at 8 o'clock at night is absolutely amazing. I haven't done that in 3 years. This side of healing, yes, is amazing, but it doesn't happen overnight. It could take months, it could take a year, and it comes in peaks and valleys. And as we go through these Live at 5s and we go through the healing journey of Module 1, Module 2, we're going to take it in steps. And I want you, and I'm going to reiterate this over and over again, because after watching so many people, and including myself, the ones who go slower are the ones that heal the fastest, which doesn't seem to make sense to our conscious mind. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the body works on its own timeline, and it's very different from the timeline of our conscious minds. Our conscious mind has been trained to hustle, get shit done, set goals, set tasks to get those goals done. Go, 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 do, do, do. Well, guess what? The body doesn't work that way. The body works in peaks and valleys. It does, and then it needs to recover. And then it works, and then it needs to recover. The body knows it needs recovery time, and I'm going to teach you how to listen to your body so that you understand the language, so that you can translate what your body is trying to tell you. And then you'll know the exact timing to take that break. And you'll also know what to take a break from. That's why you don't do everything in the protocol at once. One thing at a time, because you have to know exactly how that affects you. Because healing, detoxing the virus out of your body, feels like an exacerbation. And if you don't know how to translate what your body is trying to tell you, then you're going to say, oh my God, I'm having an exacerbation, I'm getting worse, the chick on Facebook doesn't know what she's talking about, and you're going to stop. But what really is happening is that you're detoxing the dead virus out of your body. The dead virus, the corpse of the virus, even after you have killed it, is a neurotoxin. It's toxic to your nervous system. It's a dermatoxin. It's toxic to your skin. You have to know these things so that you can read your body and go, oh, that's what this feels like. Okay, die, fucker, die. The virus is dying, and that's why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. And then you'll know, let me take a break for a little while. And don't worry, this isn't going to be the only time that I say this. I'm going to reiterate this next week when we talk about Module 1 and getting started and get that brain fog out of here and start feeling that energy. That's next week's Live at 5. So, I need another drink. Hold on, there's a lot of lemon in this. I want to talk to you about the stickers. So, they've never been stickers on here before, right? I just made stickers. So in the group, we've always got like people coming out with these zingers that are really awesome. And I write them down. Here it is. I wrote it down when she said it. Here, right? It says, don't fuck with my joy. I'm like, oh, I need to remember that. That's a good one. Don't fuck with my joy. I stuck it on my wall. And then I went over to Canva and I made stickers. And then I printed out a lot of stickers. And so I decided, here's don't fuck with my joy. Ready? Don't fuck with my joy. Nice round little sticker. Or this one. Where'd she say that? One day she said this. And these are all different clients in the group coaching program, Path to Healing. She goes, you know what? I really need to limit my time with shitheads. And she goes, that's a good idea. You know what, everyone? We all need to limit our time with shitheads. And I'm like, oh, that's genius. Stuck that on the wall, made that into a sticker. And that's this one. Limit your time with shitheads. So, of course, I give them out for free to them. But if you want one, go on the website under shop, stickers. There's only 2 there. These are the only ones I made. I don't know if people actually want them, but if you do, mindingyoursoul.com. If you want to talk about this more, not the stickers, the Epstein Barr, the virus, your symptoms, how to heal, if you want to talk about this more, schedule a consultation on the website, mindingyoursoul.com. It has consultations. Or if you've already done a consultation and you're like, no, I need a session, I need a private session, I need an hour with you, Janine, then book an hour. If you want to try the group coaching, but you're like, I don't know if I'm a group kind of person, I don't want to put that money out, it's like $220 something a month. Not a session, somebody asked me that, a month. You can try it for 2 weeks. It says start free trial. That free trial is you get 2 weeks for free. So every week we have Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Monday and Tuesday is with me in the group. Thursday is a rotation of other coaches. Matt Rowe, Dixie Willis, Jen Marks, Dee DeFata. There's always a rotation. The calendar is on the website too, so you can see who's coming up where. I think it's up to date. If it's not, it's going to be soon, but I think it is up until I think next month. You can try the group for 2 weeks and never get charged anything. So one woman had just asked me recently. She's like, the private sessions, $100 a session, money's tight, so I'm going to have to do it every other week. Or do you think I should do the group coaching? I'm like, actually, sign up for the group coaching. You get 2 weeks for free. You're not paying anything. This way you come in and you'll see if you're getting enough of the one-on-one, because we do a lot of one-on-one. We talk about the protocol, where you're at, and then we talk about a lot of subconscious work, values, husbands, ex-husbands, narcissists, alcoholics. We talk about a lot of stuff, but we're not victims. So I just want you to know that going in. The kind of personalities that this group attracts are the I'm getting it done, let's do this, what do I need to do, I'm kind of nervous, how should I do this? Not the poor me, why am I like this, life sucks, da da da. You already know that those types aren't attracted to minding your soul. They might come in, but they don't stay very long. Everyone that you see who's posting, who's commenting here, we're all of the same type of people. We're all like, I knew my body wasn't attacking itself. All right, what do I need to do? And we're constantly climbing that scale of consciousness where we're raising our vibration and we're focusing on the positive shit, the good shit that we can do. Sure, there's a lot of negative shit around there too in our lives, but we don't focus on it. So I just want to put that out there first. And so if you go on Minding Your Soul, you go in the group coaching, you read about it, there's a whole bunch of shit for you to read about. There's a whole bunch of testimonials on that page, good information. But just know, this is the first week of the mini-series. I guess we're calling it a mini-series. We're getting back to basics. Now that you know the root cause of MS and what it is, now you have options. So next week, on next week's Live at 5, we're going to be talking about Module 1, how to get you the energy so that you have the energy and that now the time to do the protocol. So we got to clear up the brain fog first. We got to get, yeah, Rhonda just said, always, and I mean, that, sorry, it took my attention away. I love this. Always, and I mean always, take care of number one, you. And that is a learned thing. You think that that would be like, yeah, I take care of me, but do you take care of you? Who can name, I just posted this today, who can name 3 things that they did for themselves today? Self-care, taking care of themselves, showing them self-love. I can honestly say, for me, it was a shower. Look, I showered, I did my hair. If you saw me in the group yesterday, oh, I don't think I had time for a shower. I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to because I want to be honest. It was last Thursday. It was last Thursday that I showered. Today's fucking Wednesday. I might have refreshed my curls and like cleaned up a little bit here and there, but a full-on shower, not since last Thursday. So sometimes self-care means just taking a shower, and that's okay. But we have to learn how to put ourselves first. That's another thing that we talk about the group very often, is how to take care of ourselves. Sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's saying, no, I'm going to take a shower first. Or no, I'm going to sit down for an hour and I'm going to rest. I'm going to read a fucking book for an hour. We feel so guilty putting ourselves first, but we don't realize that that is the key to health. That is the key. That is how we raise our vibration, and that is one of the keys to healing. Oh, hey, Sarah. She writes, highly recommend the group. Oh, thank you. Sarah's part of the group. I don't like to say that until they say it first. Sarah's part of the group, and she just said, highly recommend the group. I love it. It has helped me so much. Lovely, like-minded people. Oh, I could just hear her accent. She's in England. Lovely, like-minded people. Yeah, I know I can't do the accent. I try. Sarah, thank you so much. And Rhonda says, poor me is a very low vibration. We are higher than that. We all are. We all are. We don't attract any victims in here. And look, you've already got 2 likes, Rhonda, on your take care of number 1. So, all right. I think, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock already. It's the first time I looked at the clock. All right, 6 o'clock. All right, so I think that was everything. I hope you learned a lot. If you want to talk more, go schedule a consultation. Let's talk about you. Let's get you on the healing journey. Or if not, I'll see you next week. Module 1, we'll talk about getting you the energy. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with me tonight. It's always so much fun to talk to everyone. Thank you for all of your comments and joining in and letting everybody know that we're all the same. We're all working towards the same thing. The more vulnerable we could be by just being honest about what we're going through and what it takes to heal, the more people we're going to help. And then once we're healed, that's when we're going to get on our platforms and we're going to train the next person on how to heal, and then they're going to do the same thing, and then we are going to spread like the next fucking virus. We are going to spread around the world, healing people and getting them out of the unnecessary suffering. There's too much unnecessary, going too fast, hold on, there's too much unnecessary suffering out there, and it doesn't have to happen. There is a way out. There is a way, and on the other side of healing is fucking amazing. All right, guys, it's been great, and if I don't see you before, I'll see you next week. Have a good night.